Hey, welcome back to the show. I'm here today with Eric Levine. Eric, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, Travis, I'm doing great. It's a beautiful morning in LA. Did my meditation, did my workout. Hello.
Yeah, starting the day off right. I started off my day talking to my other co-host, Carol Carpenter. If you guys haven't checked out that show yet, Becoming Titans with Travis Johnson and Carol Carpenter, be sure you check that out. I'm saying this knowing that it's pre-recorded and the podcast hasn't launched yet. Uh,
Yeah,
just
he's
gotta
great.
gotta cross promote my stuff. But I mean, starting your
Right.
day off in the right way is vital to the success of any organization, every venture, every person, and every household. How did you decide what you were going to do to start your day off right every day?
Travis, that is such an important facet of most successful people. Success in any way is to have a disciplined morning routine. Discipline doesn't mean not fun or not great, but it means that you're going to do it. You're going to be serious about it because the results are 10 times the amount of effort you put in. It just keeps going. So, what I like to do, my morning routine, the very first thing I do, I kind of zombie my way to the shower, ice cold water, as cold as I can get, Wim Hof type thing. My wife actually bought a freezer. It's in the backyard. And I told her it's a 1 day wonder. That's what my father used to call all my toys. They're a 1 day wonder. And we went in the freezer for at least 2 weeks. Okay. It cost about $3,000, but no big deal. Anyway, so I wake up, cold shower, put on my gym clothes, and then I go outside. We have a beautiful backyard in the mountains here, and I put on my eye shades. Today I did a guided meditation with this fabulous teacher named Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's a neuroscientist as well, and for an hour and 15 minutes, he guides me into this particular meditation that I chose this morning. After that, hit some coffee, and then I have a gym in my house. And so wake up is 5. I finish my meditation about 6:15. I do 15 minutes of pranayama. I forgot to talk about that. That's yogic breathing, which as you get older, it is so important. It's called pranayama. And go on YouTube. There's a million different people that you may like. After that, I just hit the gym and work out for an hour. I do 25, 30 minutes of cardio, depends on how I feel. 2 body parts, my abs, and stretching. From there, I play with my son when he wakes up. And this morning, it's 9 o'clock. I'm here with you. But it's usually about a 2.5 hour routine that I'm religious about. And the difference of doing it and not doing it is magical. And when the whole fitness thing started to happen about, I don't know, 30 years ago, 35 years ago, the CEOs of the world, the go-getters of the world started saying, okay, let's wake up at 7. Then about 10 years ago, okay, let's start at 6. And the new power hour is 5. So I've watched that go down, but it's about 5 o'clock time when it's quiet. It's your time. No children, no spouses, no noise. It's for you.
Oh yeah, taking that time dedicated to our own mental, physical, spiritual well-being every day is vital for the success of any venture. And I know you use specific times in your example, but for those that are listening that have different work hours, some people will be working second shift, mid shift, overnight, swing shift, whatever that means for you, that would be hours before work begins. Or
Yes.
if you're doing it much later and you have to do it in the middle of your shift or the middle of your day, depending on what the rest of the world is doing. But taking that time each and every day to clear your head, to clear your body of all the toxins build up and laziness from sleeping every night is vital to the success of every organization. Now, you've had success that a lot of people would be envious of. You went over to Asia and built a gym empire. What prompted you to do that?
Well, that's a great question, Travis. So before I went to Asia, I was in a few different companies that I started in Canada, Gold's Gym, and in Southern California, Family Fitness Centers. And we merged with Family Fitness Center. We had 72 clubs, and we merged with a group called 24 Hour Nautilus, which had 30 some odd clubs in Northern California. And we called it 24 Hour Fitness. We're a huge company. And I didn't really want to be, I kept my shares, but I didn't want to be in a big company. I always use, I'm an entrepreneur. I do things myself with partners. I don't like corporations really. And my partner, who was 75 at the time, he's still alive. He's 90 some odd, almost 100. We sold, and I said, look, I want to do my own thing. And he was very fond of Asia. He'd like to go there. So I hopped on a plane, went to Hong Kong. And originally we were going to do a low price model in the Philippines, which would have been a good idea. But I landed in Hong Kong, couldn't sleep, walked the whole place. And I saw everyone had brand name stuff, Chanel, Hermes, whatever. And I'm just wondering how and why, is that so important? Found out that they're very brand conscious and they'll save for the right brand. And I felt the vibe there. It was like New York on speed. Everyone was a go-getter. And I said to my partner, Ray Wilson, I said, Ray, I want to stay here. This feels right to me. And most of my decisions I do instinctively. I'm not that smart. I don't have any degree. So I rely on my instincts quite a bit. And I felt it. I felt the vibe. There was no gyms whatsoever, as I found out throughout Asia at the time. This is before the handover of British giving to China, 1995, 96. And there was little hotel gyms, but they're nothing. So I saw the opportunity. I love the feeling of the energy, and I am an adventurer. The odds were really at the time that I was too early. It hadn't happened yet. They had heard that Madonna's doing yoga. I mean, it's that far back. And the cost of the rent, I mean, everyone was telling me it's not going to work. The Chinese people will never work out inside a gym. The women will never work out in front of a man. They won't sweat in front of a man. Go home. The leases were so terrible, Travis. 1 year maximum when I got there. Well, in a gym, you're going to put $4 million into the tenant improvements. It's not going to work. So that, and then to make a long story short, I met someone who was from Montreal. I'm from Montreal. And he was successful there. I saw a building that I had visualized in my mind exactly. And that's a whole other story we can talk about. And there was only one problem when I saw this 4-story, all glass, heart of downtown, Hong Kong, exactly like I dreamed it. I manifested it. One problem, the rent. So remember, this is 1996. So what, almost 26, 27 years ago. The rent was $250,000 US a month.
Oh, that's nothing. You can just pull that from your personal account, right?
And because nobody knew me, and I didn't have the Rolex watch with the leather band, my card had to be a certain way, you had to fit in there, and I didn't know anybody. I had to put 6-month deposit down, plus first and last month. So it's 8, right? It's $2 million with everybody telling me it's not going to work. So that was one of the times, and I talk about it when I speak about leadership. Yes, these experts, my lawyer, my accountant, my PR firm, my friends, everybody was telling me, no, don't do it. But I was there already. I had manifested in my mind when that building came up. That was the final proof that I needed from, let's call it the universe, that go for it, man, go for it. Mm-hmm. And I was ready. I was in amazing shape, mentally, physically. I had a few $1 million from the past sale that I had made, and I was ready to put it down. And I had committed to myself that whatever it took, whatever it needed, I'm going to do it. And I signed that lease. It cost $4.5 million, 2 million for the deposit, and within 90 days, I got all my money back.
Oh, that's fantastic. That definitely feels good to know that within 90 days, right at 3 months, that you were getting that turnaround. Like, what was happening within you that you knew that regardless of everyone telling you no, it's not a good idea, don't do it? How did you know that it was the right thing to do? Was it just you seeing the building that you visualized, or was it something more?
Another great question, Travis. When you can tap into your whatever you want to call it, I'm not going to use any name. When you can turn in and hear your internal power, that voice, and you can only do it when you're quiet, and you can't do it here. It's not a thinking thing. Okay. It's like we all have toolboxes. Okay. And thinking is a tool. Okay. But going inside and being still and hearing the bubbles come up of, this is what it is. This is the right answer for me. When you can do that, and I had done that for months, I kept getting the same response. This is right. And I shifted a little bit from money, 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 money. Like, I'm going to make a ton of money, to I'm going to create a brand new industry. I'm going to have thousands of jobs that I'm going to create, tons of industry I'm going to create. And my goal is to make millions of people healthy, happy, better at whatever it is they do, husband, wife, teacher, son, daughter, whatever. And shift my focus from money dominated, which is, hey, trust me, that's a big driver for me, to money's fine and great, but my first intention is to make a new industry, which is great for everybody. And that's a shift that I needed to make. And that was the final click. I had my mindset. I was ready physically. I had the money. It had to work, though. It couldn't, $250 a month, you're not going to keep going. And my internal power, I heard everything everybody said. I respected them, but nobody had done exactly this. And I always had confidence in my fact that at that time, I already had 16 years of wins in the fitness industry. And I did Canada before Canada really had anything. So I had confidence. I had the ability. I had just about enough money. And like a warrior, I went into it with great intentions. And the intention shift that I made from money to health, helping people, that I think was the final commitment I had to make to get the universe to open doors. And it's called synchrodestiny, being able to do the first domino, and allowing the universe to do the synchronicity around you. And that's what I teach when I talk. And I'm talking from direct experience.
See, that most people that just heard that story right now are like, this guy's nuts. It's the first thing
that already. We spent a week together.
We did spend a week together. I already know Eric is nuts, but he's nuts in the best possible way, right? When I love that you had to shift your focus from the dollars that were going to either show up in your bank account or leave your bank account, to actually providing the value to other people first. Yes, when we're so focused on money, and if you're watching this on video, you can see my hand. When you're focused on money, what ends up having is you have this closed-handed mentality that you got to hold on to every dollar you get. Oh, the economy is bad. Oh, this, that, and the other. And when you open your hand with your relationship to money, knowing that money is going to flow in and out, it changes the way you show up in the universe. Absolutely. willing to give and receive, you break that cycle and you don't allow that cycle to happen. And when you become
100%.
others focused, the world lines up for you to help you get done whatever it is that needs to happen. I love that story. You mentioned in there
Travis,
that
I, go ahead. Sorry.
you mentioned there that you were worried about being too early. And as soon as you said that, a story popped into my head. Like right now in the US, you have grocery delivery. There's people that'll go out, go shopping for you, get your groceries. I think Walmart's also got an app that you can click through the stuff you want. You can just show up in the parking lot, they'll bring it out to your car and you can drive away. When I was overseas in the Middle East, when I was in the Kingdom of Bahrain, they had little guys on scooters with these big boxes in the back of their scooters, would go to, get fast food, go to a restaurant for you, and would go grocery shopping for you. I can't remember the name of the company, but in the 90s, there was a company that tried to do basically shop for you and grocery delivery, but they were about 20 years too early.
Yes. You
20 years
know,
too early. The concept was great, but we weren't ready for it.
in 1977, before I got into the fitness industry, I was an actor, supposedly, didn't get many jobs. I was a stripper. I did well at that. I was a waiter at a great restaurant. But I came up with that idea. So I was living in Venice Beach, like the stoner capital of the world. And I started my first company called Stoned Age Delivery. Got the munchies, I'll bring it to you. But I didn't have enough delivery. It was me and my friend. We had two cars driving 40 miles. It obviously didn't pencil out. But I had that idea. It was way too early and I didn't have the resources. But you're right. You got to be, you want to be at the beginning of the wave. You want to be at the beginning of the wave and ride it all the way up till it crests, and let it be. So timing is so important. Yeah.
I heard in my military career that timing isn't everything, it's the only thing that truly, truly matters.
It's very, very important. But to be at the right time, you have to have all those other things in place. So you have the balance and the feeling of when the right time to push the button is, right?
Absolutely. I think that in today's world, we're focused on a couple of things that prevent us from really showing up in the world we're supposed to. We're really focused on being busy, especially in the US. I don't know what everyone in the US is obsessed with about being busy. Like if they say, "Oh, what are you doing?" "Oh, I can't do that. I'm so busy." Like they feel good. They get to say that they're busy. But if you say that you have to listen to your internal voice and it has to be quiet, but their whole day is busy,
Yeah.
how can they possibly get that quiet time to listen?
Well, we Travis and I are part of this phenomenal club and alliance, and one of the laws that it teaches us, and I'm not going to go into that, but it's called the law of the architect, and we're all architects of our own life. And another part of the stuff that we're learning is, as your boss, your boss, you have to remain above it so that you can see all the entire picture, and don't get into the minutia. And because, like, I went to a time seminar 30 years ago, and I'll talk to you a little bit about it because I want to talk about a noble goal. And so this lady, the course is called Learning as Leadership. It was a 3-year course. I'll go into that later. She was a cancer survivor, Holocaust survivor, triple PhD, advisor to the Noetic Society. So super genius. And she's talking about time. And she picked me up and she says, "Okay, tell me your life. What do you do? What things?" And it ended up being that me going to the dry cleaners, picking up the dry cleaning and going home at that stage of my life cost me $13,000 every week. She put it up. How much money do you make a month? How long did it take you to drive there, pick it up? Did he bother you? Did you have a traffic problem? It's 13 grand. Perfect example. And my mentor, he would have his hairdresser cut his hair at his house, manicure at his house, massage at everything. People came to his house, and he sat me down. He said, "Do you think I'm eccentric?" And I said, why would I think that? And he said, "I have all these people come to my house." And he also told me that, he said, "For me to go and do that, that's going to cost me 25,000. And he said, so it's going to cost me an extra $100 to get my hair cut at my house. I just saved the company $15,000-$20,000. So when we're busy doing stuff and it's not high level importance, you're actually filling your cup, and you can't get in anything powerful that you need, the real stuff. So look at your life, unclutter it as much as you can, so that the important things that you really need will come to you and you're able to access them. So thinking all the time and running around, like you said, it's a treadmill. You're not really getting anywhere. I'm like that too. I got to catch myself so many times.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely not in the same stratosphere you are when it comes to business and earnings, but really, what you really got down to there was understanding what your value is to your business based on time. Right? When you're
That's right.
there and you're doing the things that you're really good at, that you're designed to do, that are within your purview, you use the word architect, the things that you're in charge of. When you're doing those, it's worth X amount of dollars per hour.
Absolutely. And energy management, when you look at balance sheets, I know we're jumping all around, but to everyone in business, we have our profit and loss. We see how much we spent on all this stuff, how much we've received. There's one category that we never put in, and it can be a liability or it could be an asset, depending on you. It's your energy. How much energy did it take me to do that? Versus if I didn't do that, what could I have accomplished in that same period of time had it been in sync with me? And the amount of energy we spend on things that are not important and take you out of the flow, that's a very important line item that the CEO or the boss, the leader, well, everybody should go into. Is that time? Yeah, I may be able to go and open that new country, let's say, and I'm going to make X amount of dollars, versus staying where I'm at and opening up 2 or 3 locations inside my marketing, blah, blah, blah. I have the team ready. That's what I'm going to do. And how much more money will I make? How much more energy will I save? How much more clear can I be in, let's say, global dominance of whatever it is you're looking at?
Yeah, absolutely. Making sure that your energy is in the place that it needs to be within your flow and your zone of genius. I can take and do just about anything that needs to be done. But if I'm going to go build a website, I can do it. But man, how long is that going to take me to figure out how to set everything up and do the color design and do all those things? Can I do it? I can do it. But is that really worth my time? Is that what my zone of genius is? Is that where I'm focused? There's people that
Perfect.
build websites that as soon as you start describing things, they're building it in their head. It takes them a couple of clicks and they've got something that is just better than serviceable within a couple of moments, and it would have taken you 3 weeks to build. This
That's
3 weeks that
so
you're
important.
pounding your head against the wall, that you're doing something that you can do, but it's outside of your zone of genius. So many times in the entrepreneur and in the nonprofit industry, we see this. We see
Yes.
someone is given a task or someone needs to do something and they just go do it regardless if it's anywhere near their purview, their expertise, their zone of genius, whether the right person to ask or not. They just happen to be the right person there. The line of sight tasking stuff. That sort of stuff just kills me. It kills me when I see entrepreneurs doing everything, and it kills me in the nonprofit industry when I see someone that is just not right for that task doing something just because someone said to do it.
Right, right. No, it's everywhere. And I want to talk about the nonprofit in a second. Just want to go back to another statement that I made. So I learned from this lady a lot about leadership. It's called Learning as Leadership 3-year course. I learned a ton. We had to be there, and from 7 a.m. to midnight most days. And what I got out of it is many things, but she talking about me shifting from money to purpose, to being on purpose and letting the universe juice it up for me. She taught me that, we know about mission statements and kind of important, but we're not really, today it's not that strong. She taught me something that she called it a noble goal, which is above mission statement. It's something that, first of all, you want your team to buy into it. So you want to hear them. You want to take that from them. But at the end of the day, it's your decision. And that noble goal is your light. It's the light that you created your company on. And mine was so simple: changing people's lives through fitness and yoga. That's it. But we all had that, and that's wherever we were. And every time I got on an interview, I've done some big interviews, and they always said, "So you're Mr. Hard Sell." That's how they would introduce me before they even would say my name, usually. And I'd say, our noble goal is changing people's lives through fitness and yoga. That's what we do. We provide people with the greatest service so that they can improve their lives and be happier in every walk of life. Why would I have to sell that? Everyone wants that. So we're not selling, we're giving, we're facilitating to our customers who want and need it and came to us. So that noble goal is so important for the team and the safety of the company that you always focus on that. It's another thing that lady, Claire Newer, taught me.
See, that's fantastic. When you can boil down anything you're doing in the business world and the nonprofit world, in your own personal life, to something that's more noble, looking to improve people's lives via, I don't know, podcasting, let's say, could be fitness and yoga, it could be counseling, whatever the thing is. When you're talking about improving people's lives, that's a much different goal than just making $1 million bucks, making your
Right?
first
You can
million.
feel it.
Yeah,
When
you
we're just
feel it.
thinking about, you can feel the power of that versus the other. And I want to talk to you about the nonprofit thing. And I've been in many nonprofit situations, not on purpose, not by choice. Boy, did I think it was going to be a profit. Turned out to be nonprofit. But I know what you're saying, and I'm making a joke about it. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So I don't like and never have the term nonprofit. Words are so important. I'm the biggest violator of that. My wife Joy reminds me all the time of the power of words. The power of words that we say in our head all the time, the power of words that we audibly speak.
Yeah.
And the universe, everything is on energy. Everything is a vibe. Yeah. Now we know the power of attraction is karma, it's science, it's not foo-foo, it's real. Yeah. Whatever you do, there's an action, a reaction. Now, if the word nonprofit means to you that nonprofit, we're not going to receive the money to make this organization have profit, which means being able, in my mind, to grow, to hire the best people, to get the best equipment, to access the most people that you want to help. And I know people in the nonprofit world, especially, usually are very sweet, giving people. And that's wonderful. But when we say nonprofit, it sets up a whole set of vibes that stop the abundance, actually stops the abundance. And that's the exact opposite, obviously, of what everyone's great intentions are. So I don't know about a change of name from nonprofit to giving industry, giving business, a positive abundance industry, something that changes that. And you will actually attract many different people that just were turned off by the name nonprofit. I got my house, my kids, my school. How am I going to get into a nonprofit? There's just a salary, I can never grow. So I'd like the whole nonprofit group to think about changing the name, at least in their area, and facilitate to a more abundance. You're going to do the same good that you wanted to do, but you're going to allow the flow of abundance to come in all sorts of ways. And I've been thinking about that, since I'm like, first time I ever heard of nonprofit, which scared me. I said, are these people that want profit but don't get it? And actually Dan, a good friend of ours and one of the heads of our alliance that we're part of, he said the same thing to me. He says, I don't get that start nonprofit. And we talked about it, and he was aligned with, we both had the same feelings. So maybe that's something to think about, your individual organization. Take out the word nonprofit and put it in an abundance mindset, regardless of whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah, that word definitely has a lot of connotations to it. I remember posting different things. If I talk about the nonprofit world or the nonprofit architect to people that aren't familiar with the industry or what it looks like, and I posted in a podcasting group, hey, I'm looking to have conversations with nonprofit people in the nonprofit world, and about 100 people chimed in and say, oh, I don't make any money on my podcast. My podcast is nonprofit. And you're right, the word itself detracts from the actual meaning. I think in Canada, more people say not for profit. Overseas in England, they say charitable organization or charity,
Well, that's
and
better.
it's a little better, but
A little
still,
better.
it's
Not where you want
living
to
at
be.
the cost of self is almost what a charity sounds like.
Yeah, and when I'm very hopefully, I'd like to say I'm a big philanthropist to certain things, and I feel good about that. And one thing that is so, you have to really, it's not me, it's not my personality, but so many great people with the biggest hearts in the world have this misconception, aversion from whoever told you, money doesn't grow, money's evil, money doesn't get, all that ridiculous noise that we heard from growing up. You have to make sure that you are in harmony with the attraction of money. And and I know a lot of people in the charity organizations and nonprofit, not for profit, whatever, they have that chip in their brain that money isn't a good thing. And that ain't going to help you. Okay. I don't care what you're doing. Money is a law of our society around the world. What you do with that money, that's where the godliness comes in. Okay. But if you don't have the money, we're just on a call 3 days ago with the head of the organizations. Hey, you want to help the world, but you don't have any money? Get the money, help the world with the money. And you have to align yourself. Doesn't matter what business you're in, for profit, nonprofit, whatever. You have to have this mindset that money is a great thing. And imagine all the great things you're going to do with that money. Instead of money is evil, the root of all that'll block it. Absolutely. Going back to the words. So check yourself. Am I blocking the flow of abundance? Did something my mother said when I was 5 still be the direction that I'm going? Check yourself, not just about that, but check your self-image on many things. Like, what old sayings do I repeat in my brain that aren't true, don't have anything to do with me, and then I want to change that? But nonprofit, not for profit, usually means I'm stopping the money flow. And I know that anyone in nonprofit, they want to get as much money to do the good that they want. Well, they got to get the money first.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I love that you talked about the blocks that happened when your mom told you something when you were 5. Isn't that so true? Have you ever heard this? Just a quick yes or no. I'll go into the story. Oh, you've got to clear your plate. You've got to eat everything on your plate. Have you ever heard that?
Oh, sure.
So, from a very young age, many parents condition their kids to not listen to their body when it comes to food. So you immediately see the effects, especially in the US, of a lot of overeating or body image issues or anything else, because from a very early age, parents are conditioning their kids to eat more than their body needs or wants.
Right. So true. And, and I'm sure all of our parents meant well. They just didn't know. They didn't have the proper knowledge to be able to tell us. And yet, you keep it with you for 40, 50 years. That's your first software, push eating. And that's the first thing that comes
Yep.
up in your mind. It's not true, it never was true. And it's still harming you today. It's still a negative. And
Yep.
you're talking about that and your self-image. I know we're jumping around, but having fun. Let me tell you a little bit about the importance of what I find about self-image. Um, I'll give you an example. So I have this assistant manager in Hong Kong. Greatest assistant manager, wants to be a manager, and he's good. He I'm going to promote him to manager. Just to give you an idea of money, as an assistant manager, and again, this is 20 some odd years ago, Hong Kong is expensive, so people make a lot of money there. He was making about 10,000 US dollars a month, and he was in his mid 20s. And he had told me, he wants to be a manager. I saw that. He went to management training, and he was perfect. So I expand to another country. We're in Singapore. I moved the current manager to Singapore. Now he's going to be the manager. His starting salary is 20,000, 10,000 to 20,000. Monday morning, he takes over. Monday morning, he doesn't show up. Never see him again. I find out he's selling turtles in Shanghai. In his self-image, he didn't deserve that amount of money. He didn't believe he could handle the responsibility of that position. And what do we do when the situation is greater than our self-image? We self-destruct, we sabotage in every way. And it may not be the first day like he did, but sooner or later, if your self-image says, I'm not good enough to that, whether it's I'm not good enough to be married to him or get that guy or get that girl or get that job, whatever it is, you're going to self-sabotage and go below that ceiling that you created in your mind, even though the world was ready for you, you sabotaged it. And I check myself all the time, like, hey, wait a minute, this isn't going the way I thought. What vibes do I have inside my brain that are saying, hey, you're not ready for that. You're not good enough for that. And I catch myself all the time, and I see it all the time. And so be aware of that and try to remove your limits as much as you can. And it's constant, it doesn't happen overnight, but self-image is very important in all aspects of your life.
I couldn't agree more. I remember growing up in trailer parks and foster homes and looking at people with any kind of money. And when you're at that level, pretty much everyone has more money than you do in your mind. And I remembered hating people because they had, because I didn't have. What I didn't know was how the world worked. I didn't know what they did for a job. I didn't know the value that they provided. Like Jeff Bezos, the value he's provided through Amazon and how many decades it took him to build that into the empire that it is, right? He has provided that much value to so many people. The amount of people that have jobs that are able to take care of their families, that have insurance because of him, people that have things delivered to them to save time because they know what their time is worth. Like all those people that he's impacted, make him worth what he's worth, make the company the valuation that it is based on the stocks that he has of what it is. But he was
Yeah.
able to do that based on what he knew about himself and what he was worth. I didn't know at the time when I was younger that I had any worth
Mhm.
based on my station in life.
Sure.
And
That's
if,
natural, right? That's
yeah,
natural.
yeah. And we're getting,
Where do
you're receiving all of these external feedback that is telling you who you are, what you do, what your life means, all that stuff. If you're relying on the outside world to tell you and build your image of yourself, it's always 100% going to be bad. And if they build you up to be good, like some kind of celebrity, something's
Mhm.
going to happen that's going to tear it all down, because
You bet.
this will not last. The good, bad times will not last. The good times will not last. All of it will not last. But if you're counting on, oh, that person makes me happy, the words they say don't have some magical potion that when it hits your eardrums, happiness flows in your body, right?
Yeah.
There's not some molecule that hits you. It's how we feel about ourselves. And we're
Mhm.
attached. If we're attached to every little thing that everybody says, your life is going to be terrible. You're going to be drama. You watch your news, you're going to go into a frenzy. Someone says something terrible about you or something that you identify with, it says something bad about something you identify with as your own identity, you're going to have a bad time because you're relying on those external words to make you who you are.
Absolutely true. And when you were growing up in that tough situation, and you're seeing that, and that's your environment, that's your teachers, and you're focused on that, that's natural. Yeah, that's how we do it, right? And where you place your focus is where your energy goes.
Mm-hmm.
And science today has proven that yes, DNA affects us. You got blue eyes, you're tall, you're short, whatever, yeah. But actually, the environment that you grow up in actually has more precedence on who you are today. And that's science. And we didn't even know about it before. Oh, my father's this or my mother's that, so I'm this. That's not it. That's not it. It's the environment, who you're hanging around, what you're focused on has more weight on who you are today than that. And that's a freedom to know that, right? It's a big freedom to accept that and acknowledge that. And that's where the neuroscientists are today and the top thinkers in the medical world are today. They've proven that.
Biggest danger with parents that don't understand how we develop as people. When we are from birth to about age 7, we are in the process of building our operating system.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
up until that point, roughly that point, right? It's not the same for everybody, but you're essentially just onboarding information without any kind of filter. So if your life involves trauma, pain, abuse, you're onboarding that as your system. So someone abuses a small kid and then follows it up with, I love you. They're associating that abuse with love. And because they don't yet have a filter, they don't have the ability to say, that's not right. They operate that as their operating system until some dramatic or traumatic event happens to change that in the future. But it's very hard to change.
Yes.
This is according to science from Johns Hopkins and Harvard and all these places. Like, you have to be cognizant of what you are developing, especially with the children that you have growing up. They've
Absolutely.
looked at teenagers, they looked at preteens and adolescents, looked at children, and they found that they couldn't have any significant impact unless it was school age kids K through 2. So parents obviously have the access ahead of kindergarten, but you can't do anything significant to really change a child's direction unless you get to them before 7.
Yeah. And there is, so the subconscious mind, which we're in 95% of our waking hours, we're actually in our subconscious mind. And that's, all the hearts, the lungs, whatever we do normally uh, uh, as a habit that we do. And the subconscious mind is what you were just talking about, the first hardwire we're getting age up to 7. And what the subconscious mind is also is a counter. Counts how many times you are, I'm stupid. My father said I'm stupid. My teacher said I'm stupid. My friend said I'm stupid. It actually keeps a record of how many times you have said that to yourself. So I've got 1 million references that I'm stupid, and I have that as my self-image. So stupid people can do up to this, but can't do this. So here's my stupid level of my advancement in whatever area it is. There is a way to fix that. It's a no-brainer. And I was taught this by my mentor 25 years ago. So what you do is you create, you download a device, whatever it is, in your voice. You can go on YouTube and hear Tony Robbins and all these other magnificent motivators, and they help, no question, they help. But more important, your subconscious knows your voice. Make a tape. In my generation, we made a tape. I have no idea what you guys are going to do today, but we made a tape in our voice, 30 minutes of, I'm great, I'm intelligent, I can do it, I put my mind to it, I make it happen, I'm successful, I have successful friends, opportunities find me, I'm in an abundance mode, energy is abundant, I have it. All the important things that you know that you need, and counteract any ridiculous baggage, literally baggage, that you're carrying with you. And at the 1,000,001 time that your subconscious heard that I'm intelligent, I can do it, it clicks over. It actually clicks over to, okay, I'm intelligent. And we had to do it as an onboarding into my mentor's company for 99 days. He had to hear it before he hired you. You had to make your tape. You had to send it to him. He had to approve it. And then for 99 days, you had to check in a certain way, giving him a quick call before you got any type of position. And that is the simple trick that works for you. So your own voice before you go to sleep. And that affirmation keeps going in your subconscious mind for the entire time you're sleeping. So it plays over and over. And on your 100th day, most things have flipped. You can keep doing it for as long as you want. You don't think you're there yet, but it works. It's magic and it works.
That's fantastic. That is such great advice. And you obviously live what you teach and preach.
I
And it's
try.
so great to have you as a guest today. I know we got to spend a week together in Texas, having just an absolutely phenomenal experience. Enjoyed
Yeah.
every single moment of that. Love getting to meet you and your wife, Joy. What parting words do you have for our audience today?
I think that, the world is it's always in chaos. Okay. So, my father would have said it was worse then or more crazy now. We're hearing fake everything from everywhere. Okay. And I'm not saying right, left, up, down. It's everywhere. Now is the most important time for you to start something for yourself that isn't connected to anyone else. Something like meditation, yoga, something that gets you, as we talked earlier, gets you access to your higher power. It's not here, it's the heart, it's inside that. And it doesn't take hours, okay? It can take 5 minutes. Recenter yourself, be quiet, and that is the news you want. The info that comes from that, you can count on with your entire being. So figure out what works for you. It can be praying, it can be doing whatever it is that you think is going to get that access to that special spot that we all have. We all got it. We're all family, regardless of anything, and get that. And if you can access that and make that an important part of your life, I can guarantee that you're going to be happier and have a healthier life for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Words to live by. Where's the one place you would like people to go if they want to contact you, Eric?
They can go to my website, Eric Levine, EricLevine, global.com. And they can email me, that's my website. You see all the things that I'm doing and what I'm doing and how I can help you if you want to contact me for anything. And my email that's best that I go to every day is my name, Eric Levine 55 at gmail.com. That's what I go to many times a day. So Eric Levine 55 at gmail.com. Send me an email, regardless of the topic, and we can communicate.
Hey, thanks so much for being my guest today, Eric.
My pleasure, Travis. You're great. Everyone that meets Travis falls in love with him. He makes us smile, gives us energy, and makes us happy. So thank you, Travis.
Hey, if you love conversations like this, you want to figure out how to start your own podcast, go to nonprofitarchitect.org/resources, pick up our ultimate podcast guide, and check out the course we have. We're the only professional podcasters that have a college accredited course. You can take it through Forbes Business School of Technology or right there on the website and even transfer it into the school that you're attending. Thank you so much.